Worldwide, it's a 305.
I want you to give me everything you got.
Me not working hard. Yeah, right, picture that with a Kodak. A lot of things in these records have come to life. Performing in Times Square came to life right in front of me. I'm not the best rapper. I don't want to be the best rapper. But goddamn it, I'm the hardest worker. And more than anything, being a Miami boy, first generation Cuban American, I love the fact that I grew up an underdog. Didn't graduate high school, hardly went to school, but it was a teacher that changed my life. She thought it was a fight going on, and when she broke through it, she seen that we were rapping, and she said, "You have talent." My first major concert, Luke said, "Get this on stage." The more I heard no, the more I was like, I gotta fight for this. I believe in this. My happy is to get up every day and look life in the face and go, "Please, what you got, baby? Come on." I always tell people, look, there's no losing, only learning. There's no failure, only opportunities. And there's no problems, only solutions. It all depends on how you want to switch. You're gonna sit up there with somebody that looks at you and says, "I don't think that's a hit there, bitch." Music talks to everybody and it's a universal language. We created a new name, it's called Total Market. We all bleed the same blood, breathe the same air, and put our pants on one leg at a time. How I feel about the Latin community, I don't ever leverage it. You know, I am it. We went back to one of my old neighborhoods, Little Havana in Miami, and we opened a school called Slam. It means the world to me because you see these kids and you see you. This isn't a gimmick, this isn't propaganda. I'm up here because it works. I live it every day of my life. And that, folks, is how you take a negative and turn it into a positive. It was all a dream. Now I just wake up and live it. Thinking that the sky was the limit until I figured out there's footprints on the moon. Now I'm like, get out the way, move. All right, here we go.
Yo, 5.
Till I
One
die.
more time for Pitbull. Give it up for Pitbull.
Well, I appreciate it while they get this mic right.
One of us.
Woo. Be patient, we're gonna be all right. There you go.
Mic check. Check,
I don't
check,
know if we
check.
need a mic. Lord, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And hopefully you leave with something that inspires, motivates you, and something you can apply in your life, you know?
One more time for Pitbull. Give it up.
I know what you're doing.
You're the man, the myth, the legend. We know that.
Now, far from the myth.
You're a hometown favorite.
Yes, sir. Dade
right?
County, born and raised.
And when we're in these settings, when you're doing interviews,
Yes,
typically it's associated with the music and your impact to that music industry. But we're here. We're at the Influencers Business Mixer in association with the Lessons in Leadership and Global Leadership Organization to talk about your entrepreneurship. How did you get started? What are you working on currently?
I mean, working on currently, we're constantly working on any opportunity that's out there. I just appreciate the fact that I can get up every day. Like I say all the time, you know, every day above ground is a great day.
Yep.
So if you could look at life like that, then you can take it on, be motivated and inspired, and instead of expecting things, you appreciate things.
Absolutely.
So for me, any opportunity that I can find a way to show people, especially in a society now that lives by instant gratification, meaning it's like, it doesn't happen, not now, no, right now it needs to happen, and that's not life. Life is a slow but a for show, and if you live it like that, then you're gonna be able to enjoy what the ride is. And for me, I try to just lead by example. So whether it's in the music industry, whether it's in all of entertainment, whether it's in education, whether it's in entrepreneurship, but it has to start right here, 305 Dade County, Miami.
Absolutely.
And that's the way, I think that to be a prime example of how you want people to be in their community, in their culture, and be able to be in society, you have to start where you're from.
Absolutely.
And thank God Miami's been a blessing, man.
Awesome, awesome. Great to hear, great to hear. So when did you first identify yourself as an entrepreneur?
As an entrepreneur, I mean, an entrepreneur for me, what it means is freedom.
Yeah.
Okay, and my family, me being a first generation Cuban American, and what they went through for me to be born here in the United States, which I was born right after what they call the Mario boat lift in Mariel. My grandmother was a rebel next to Castro, one of the first 4 women next to Castro in what they call La Sierra Maestra. Figured out that was the wrong move. Me, my aunt, Tia, so it's Abuela Cuca, Tia Nena. They started to create safe houses for the opposition, which was Batista. She got caught, political prisoner, and then they figured out a way for my mother and my mother's sister to get out, which is my aunt also, in this operation called Peter Pan, Pedro Pan. So when they did that, you know, they went from Cuba. She was 10 years old. My mother went from Cuba to Indiana, a little bit of a culture shock, you know.
Midwest.
Yeah. You know, they didn't know the language, they didn't know where she was going, they didn't know what state, what family, anything. But my grandmother knew one thing. She was getting the hell out of Cuba, and she was on her way to freedom.
Sure.
And why do I tell you this story? Because entrepreneurship is freedom. And as a little kid, how did I figure that out? Well, I started by, my first job was cleaning bird cages. I would get $5 each cage when I would be in my grandmother's neighborhood. So $5, you know, you do 4 cages, that's $20. $20 for a kid that's 6 years old. Hey,
Right.
you know, you could buy a lot of candy from the candy lady with that right there.
Love it.
And found ways to just flip things, always finding ways to trade things and understanding the value of trade. And more than anything, at a young age, understanding that it's not about the money. You know, you work hard for the money, so the money work hard for you. Money don't make you, you make money.
Absolutely.
And I learned that at a very young age, due to the way I was raised.
Love it. Awesome.
Yes,
awesome. When we think about the music industry, how did it prepare you or support you to be an entrepreneur?
Okay. So growing up in Miami in the 80s, you know, Miami's an amazing city, and it's one of the meccas of the world at this point. We fought very hard for that, by the way. Nobody was looking at Miami boys before. They thought we were all Bamas and country, and they weren't trying to let us in the music game.
Right.
And, you know, it was all about New York and LA, and God bless, they paved the way. And growing up in the city in Miami in the 80s, the only entrepreneurship that I really grew up watching were, it is what it is, but drug dealers, and the product was cocaine.
Wow.
And that was the economy, that's what drove the economy in Miami at the time. So watching that growing up, that's what prepared me for the music industry. Because see, in the music game, you gotta give somebody a good product, make sure they like it, make sure they come back. So the difference is my product, you don't snort it, you listen to it. But it's the same philosophy. Where you're in it, you're hustling, you're grinding, you're finding a way. And being an entrepreneur is understanding that the word no is a great word.
Yeah.
And no, they taught me, N-O means new opportunity. Okay? And also understanding that you don't make mistakes, mistakes make you. And when you're able to learn from those things and admit quick, you know, like, okay, I need to pivot. I need to think out the box. I need to be untraditional. I need to be unconventional on this idea, this philosophy, this record, which, by the way, every record that y'all seen that touched the world, that I've been very blessed, thank God for that, thanks to the fans for that. They told me it was not gonna be a hit. They didn't believe in it. You know, all the execs was like, you're crazy, this is never gonna work. And I'm going, damn, I know this is gonna work. Thank God, no? Every one that they thought was gonna be a hit, I threw it out the window because it didn't work.
There you go.
So what do? You gotta listen to your gut. Man.
Yeah.
You gotta believe in yourself. You believe in yourself, others believe in you. You help yourself, you can help others. You love yourself, you can love others. It starts with you, not from a selfish standpoint, but from a believing in yourself standpoint, okay? And that's what prepared me. So Miami being the melting pot, growing up in the 80s with around extracurricular activities, prepared me for the game in the music industry.
Awesome. In that game,
yes, sir.
In that hustle, you're going to come across some headwinds, some pitfalls.
Always.
So when you reflect, what were some of the failures that you faced in your journey of entrepreneurship?
Man. Well, I always say failure is the mother of all success. If you don't lose, you don't appreciate a win. That's like a boxer that says he's never been hit. Doesn't exist.
Right.
That's like a ball player that's never missed. Doesn't exist.
True.
And in the music game, it's the same thing. Only difference is, see, if a boxer get hit, he got a chance to hit right back, and boom, you forgot he just got hit. In the music game, you put out a record, and if the record doesn't do what the last record did, that's it, your career's over with. Now you gotta fight even harder. So they call it the Michael Jackson effect. So Michael Jackson, when he came out with Thriller, he sold 30 million copies. He came out with the next album, he sold 10 million copies. They said, oh, his career's done with. I said, damn, 10 million copies and his career's done? Right. So this is how they gauge you, and the metrics are constantly changing. But if you're able to pivot, always find a way to mutate, modify, then you'll be all right. But how does that happen? You got to challenge yourself. You got to take the risk. The biggest risk you take is not taking one. You got to be able to think out the box and go, even though everybody's going right, I got to go left with this one, but you're listening to your gut. So a prime example, I came in the game through the streets. The people that gave me the opportunity was Uncle Luke from 2 Live Crew. Little John gave me an opportunity. These producers called the Diaz Brothers gave me an opportunity. And that's all I knew. So I tell people all the time, I'm not a rapper, I'm a reporter. All I did was tell you what I grew up around and what I seen, so I just paint you a picture. You may not like the picture I'm painting, but you might not like the way I grew up. That was my environment, right? In about 2005, I saw a lane, and I said, ooh, nobody's looking at this right now. That was the DJ lane. So it was this record from Bob Sinclair, and it's called World Hold On. And I'm down in Dominican Republic. These beautiful Dominican women are dancing to this record, and they're singing it in English. And I'm in the club, and I'm going, I can almost bet the bank that they don't speak English. So I go to them, and, I ask them in Spanish. I say, permiso, ¿te gusta esta canción? He says, sí. Yeah, okay. ¿Tú hablas inglés? No, un poquitico. So I ask her in Spanish, ¿tú sabes lo que están diciendo? Like, do you understand what they're saying? She goes, no, but I love this record. She's telling me in Spanish. And this record got these whistles that are real catchy. And the whistle was, and they're just dancing to it. And I said, man, I need to jump on this DJs now. When I jumped on the DJ records, man, you should have seen when I got back to the neighborhood what they were telling me. Oh, you done sold out. Chico, what you doing? Right. That's never gonna work. And then I go, ooh, I'm on to something. And I came back to the neighborhood years after, as the career took off, thank God. I said, damn right, I'm sold out arenas, sold out stadiums, sold out records.
Love it.
And with that said, it's just to bring it full circle, it took that risk. Now DJs are artists. Not everybody jumping on DJs records. Now DJs are DJ featuring, DJ such and such featuring such and such, such and such. Yeah. So to bring it, to bring it all back and make this make sense, we took another risk. We're completely independent. I say we because I don't do this by myself. Got an amazing team with the same vision, same goals, and we work hard to execute them. So being independent, there's none of that major label muscle behind you. You got to do this on your own, so it takes longer. Feels better though. And what do? We jumped on a record with Blake Shelton now. Nice. Now we off into the country world. What do you think everybody looking at me now? Man, you crazy, Chico, you crazy. Why you doing that right there? It's a world that I see nobody's really tapped into as far as being able to merge everything that we've grown up around, everything from their world that I love. What I love about their world is a professional world. Right. They come to do the job, they get the job done, and wherever they want to go do it, get off the chain at is on them. Go do it. Right. It's not in the place of business. And I was a little different. I was a lot different. Right. So now to merge these two and take that risk and being willing to fail, to me is the fun part. That's the fun part. When people are looking at you like you're crazy, that means you're doing something right. Absolutely. You're doing something right. Because if not, you're just cattle getting led into the slaughterhouse. You're just following what everybody else is doing. True. And that never got us to where we're at right now. Love it. So to everybody here, biggest risk you take is not taking one. Believe in yourself. Bottom line.
Awesome. Love it. Give it up for Pitbull. Give it up for him. Love it. And you said something interesting. You talked about being independent and how critically important. Hold that. We're going to come back to that because I want you to give some more context behind it. How's family? Family good?
Family's great, thank God.
I read something special about you.
Yeah.
Go back with me. You're in mom's car.
Yeah.
You're listening to a CD, Tony Robbins.
Yeah, it was a tape. That was in Carroll City.
Tape.
I used to live in Carroll City. This is about 1990. We always used to hang out at a flea market called the Carroll Mart. And nobody in this neighborhood, is trying to hear Tony Robbins. And at that time, it was Anthony Robbins. Right. When my mother could take me to school, and we lived in an efficiency over there, she put on Tony Robbins, and one day I went to go touch the radio because I was trying to listen to 2 Live Crew, Poison Clan, you name it, NWA, whatever was out at the time. And she slaps my hand. Pop! You know, and I look at her and she goes, "You paid for this car?" I said, "Nah." She said, "Don't touch my radio." I said, "Oh, okay." So I would listen to Tony Robbins. So what happens is, subliminally and by default, it starts to make sense to me. And he had this one story about Colonel Sanders and Kentucky Fried Chicken. And it took Colonel Sanders 1,007 times to sell his recipe. It's 1,007 no's that he had to run into. And it ain't a no like, I'm asking you 1,007 times. He's like, no, 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 no. It's like you got to meet with every exec everywhere, different meetings, fly different places, do different things. So imagine how much time that took and how much he had to believe in himself in order to sell this recipe. So when I heard that, I'm like, damn, I know what it is to get one no from my mom. Imagine 1,007 of them.
Right.
Yeah. Mom, can I stay at such and such house? Nope. Mom, can I get some gold teeth? Nope. Mom, can I get it? Nope. Yeah. And that stuck with me. So throughout the years, I've had this conversation before in other interviews. And the law of attraction, I believe it exists. Next thing you know, I got Tony Robbins in LA handing me my Hollywood star.
Wow.
Next thing you know, I'm on stage with Tony Robbins, touring the world, having, speaking engagements and being able to perform with him, learn from him. He's a mentor, he's a business partner, and more than anything, he's just a great human being who wants the best for everybody.
Love it.
And that, to me, why music is so special, because music is a universal language. No matter what we speak, we all speak music, bottom line. And the beauty the beautiful thing about music, it unites, doesn't divide. You get me? So when you put a chance that you can have motivational, inspirational speaking engagements with music, I mean, partner, it's volcanic.
There you go. That's awesome. Music, technology, real estate.
Yes, sir.
How do you pinpoint where you want to make an investment in a company?
I mean, they always talk about having a diversified portfolio. So it's almost like, think of it as a garden. You plant certain seeds. Some grow quicker than others. Some take a little longer. Some need more TLC than others. But living in this, I said again, society of instant gratification, I want you to understand this. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And we have a saying in Spanish that says, pasos cortos, vista larga, which is short steps, long vision. If you could look at life like that, then you should look at your investments like that. If you're investing in something thinking that you're just gonna, like we would say in the neighborhood, you're just gonna hit a lick, it's just gonna come back fast. Right. Well, guess what? What comes quick leaves quicker. Really how it works. So an investment is all about keeping your eyes on something that you're passionate about, something that you really enjoy talking about, learning about, studying about, and teaching others about. Then it's a good investment. But if you're getting involved thinking that you're just gonna make a quick, your $2 gonna become $4 quick, and the 4 gonna become 8, and the 8 gonna become 16 like that, that's the wrong investment. So for myself, I invest in things that I love, even like education. Education, when I started talking to people that I know, and like, no, I'm gonna start getting involved in schools, and not just putting your face next to a school, like building the school, help manage the school, really something that's productive. Right. They thought I was crazy. Right. And now we're up to 11 schools with 10,000 kids, in 7 years.
Wow.
Then again, it went to that place where people go, hey, ¿qué tú estás haciendo? ¿Estás loco? What's wrong with you? But hey, thank God we could do it, man.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Great segue. Jose Marti.
Yeah.
Jose Marti, renowned Latin Cuban poet. Yes, sir. Latin American Cuban poet. He had a saying, to educate is to free. Your philanthropy is focused on education, just like what you just talked about. So why the schools? Why the charter schools? You talked about the locations you have currently.
All right, so Jose Marti, why he's so special to me, when I was growing up in Little Havana, that's right when the Mario boat lift came over. So they had the whole neighborhood, Calle Ocho from 27th Ave to 5th Ave was full of what they call Marielitos. And Marielitos is what came in with Marielitos was the Cuban crime wave. So I'm in the mix of that. Growing up at that time, it's not like what I see now when I go by the neighborhood. It's like nobody's out no more. Right. I look at the park, nobody's in the park no more. When I was out, it was like a parade on the block. Every day, everybody was out. And everybody knew you, your name, you knew certain people. You hang out at the corner store, you go get them whatever they want. from the store for them. They let you keep the change kind of place I was at. And my father would take me to the bars, which are basically restaurants also. And he'd stand me on top of the bar and he'd make me recite Jose Marti poems. He'd teach them to me, and then when I recite them, I saw how powerful words were. Because it was, the poems are all talking about, they're talking about being, about freedom, about fighting for freedom, about appreciating for freedom, about dying for freedom, about being a revolutionist, but a real revolution, you know, not one with an agenda. So when I saw how powerful that was one of the first times that I fell in love with what it was to make music. Like, oh, wow, you put something down, you could really change people or inspire people. So I went to about, I would say like 25 different schools. I've lived in a lot of different neighborhoods, good, bad, worse, you name it. It's funny because the worst things I saw were in the good neighborhoods, crazy enough. That's true. That's why I learned the alphabet, FBI, DEA, ATF, SWAT. And the good neighborhoods, jump outs, Tuesdays and Thursdays, you know, I mean the bad neighborhoods. And I didn't graduate from high school. They didn't even want me in the school, to be honest with you. And the principal told me verbatim, one day I came back, I had transferred from so many different high schools, and I came from a high school called Southridge back to a school called Cole Park. And he told me, "Yo, what are you doing here?" I said, "No, I transferred back." And, you know, he told me not to cuss, so I ain't gonna show you my French today, you know. But he told me, "What the are you doing here? I don't want you in my school." Oh, all right. And sure enough, so I didn't graduate, but a teacher changed my life. And her name was Hope Martinez, crazy enough. Hope was her name. She believed in me. She believed in the talent that I didn't even know I had, or we had, because there was a bunch of us that were always rapping. That was our way of, you know, if we wouldn't have been rapping, we would have been doing other extracurricular activities, you know? And thank God that kept us focused, man. And she believed in us, and that's what basically changed my life. And that's why I invested in the education, because nobody's stupid, nobody's dumb, none of us. We just got to figure out how we learn. Some read better than others, some do math better than others, some are better at listening, some are better at looking, some are better hands-on. So when it comes to these kids, the school's called SLAM, Sports, Leadership, Arts, and Management. We built, the first one we built in Little Havana off of Northwest 6th Street and 12th Avenue, right next to the Martin Stadium. 2 buildings there, you'll see them. We got 3 buildings on that block, but the 2 that are up. So that's close to like 3,000 kids on that block. And they're coming from Overtown, Alapata, Wynwood, Little Haiti, Little Havana, all the way from Opelika, Carol City. They're all coming in. And these are the kids that need it the most. Well, that school in the last 2 years, we've graduated at 100%. Which kids that in other schools, they
give it up for them. Come on.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Awesome. So, been very blessed to be able to be in this position where we have, like I said, so we got 4 in Miami, 1 in West Palm, 1 Boca, 1 Tampa. We just opened 1 in Atlanta. We got approved in Alabama, got 2 in Nevada. We just got approved in Arizona. So to me, education and what we're getting involved right now, that's the real revolution. That's a real revolution. Because remember, of course they don't want to educate you, they want us dumber. Because we make a whole lot more money in the prison system than we do in the educational system. So they keep us dumb, we end up being in prison, and they make all the money.
That's true.
So that's why we got these kids, and we're molding them while they're young, teach them how to believe in themselves, and teach them that they can be anything that they want to be. And the more they hear no, let that ignite that fire. Let that give that gasoline to that fire. So when they go out there, now they're little monsters. And it's happening already. We got kids going to universities that, you know, who would ever thought you have kids going to Yales? And I mean, you know, we grew up in the city of Yayo, and now they're going to Yayo. Like, damn, yes, sir. So it excites me, man. I'm very passionate about it.
Love it, love it. One more time for Pitbull. That's fantastic. Oh, my gosh. Libertad, 548.
Say your name, I'm sorry.
Libertad.
Libertad. Yeah, you got it, Libertad.
548. You talked about being an independent artist.
Yes, sir.
This is your first Latin album.
No, this is my first. On the Spanish side, I've been independent for 10 years.
Gotcha.
On the English side now, I've always had partnerships. So this is setting up the English album. That'll be the first independent project on the English side.
Okay.
So libertad means freedom. Libertad means to be free, right? That's what we fight for. And the reason it's called Libertad 548 is because my father when he came over, he won what they call as the lottery in Cuba. The lottery in Cuba, you don't win no money, but you win the most priceless thing that God's ever given us, and that's freedom, right? So he got to come to the United States of America. When he came to the United States of America, he was an entrepreneur in the 80s, you know, involved with
Entrepreneurial things.
you know what I'm saying, certain things. And with that said, he took that and invested, and he rented 3 boats, and he went down during the Mario boat lift and picked up 548 Cubans to bring them over to freedom when they opened up the embassy. When Castro, you know, what happened there basically, when he opened it up, Castro was like, oh, you guys want freedom? No problem. So when he opened everything up, he also opened up the prisons. He also opened up the mental asylums.
Right.
While everybody was trying to, you know, rush to freedom. He was a part of all of that, and that's why it's called Libertad 548, 548. It's dedicated to him and my mother for giving me the amazing blessing to be able to be born here in the United States of America.
Awesome. Awesome. Give it up one more time, Pitbull.
Appreciate it, bro.
Okay, need your help. So the first single was No Lo
Trates.
Trates.
There you go, you got it.
Daddy Yankee, Nati Natasha went #1.
Yeah.
Right? And on 3 Latin Billboard charts, had huge influence, got tons of streams.
Yeah.
Over, let's call it 300 million streams all up. What can we anticipate? What can we expect coming off that album?
Coming off this album, well, for one, I want to say thank you to Daddy Yankee and Nati Natasha. I mean, I've known Yankee for many, many years, and he's been in the game for I've been in the game 20. He's been in the game about 22. And he has an amazing story too. And he's also somebody that's a go-getter, a mover, a shaker, and don't take no for an answer. So to be able to do a record with him, it go, you know, #1. The album went #1 also. Now we have the next record is called Me Quedaré Contigo. Me Quedaré Contigo is featuring an artist named Lenier, another artist named Micha. And this record was already big in Cuba and also in the streets of Miami. So right before when to go take off, I shot it over to Neo. Neo's a very good friend of mine, one of the guys that I respect the most in the industry, because let me tell you, the music industry is like the movie industry. It's a lot of fluff, all right? A lot of people act like they're something that they're not. A lot of people just show up when it looks good on their name, but they don't really show up. Right. Neo's a complete opposite. He shows up, he's got a good heart, and he stand up, he's solid. So I send him this record in Spanish, and he's like, yeah, man, I never really done no Spanish record before. Yeah. So I send him a clip of Lenier, the Cuban artist, performing it in Cuba in front of 80,000 people. And Lenier didn't even have to sing the hook. He just put the mic out, and the whole stadium was singing it. So Neil's like, yeah, you can count me in. So not only did he knock out the record, he knocked it out in Spanish, and it sounds great. Awesome. That record's on its way to be #1. Awesome. We shot the video for it also. We already performed it on Dancing with the Stars. We'll probably perform it with Neon, World of Dance. And with this album, that's what I love about music, like I say. We all speak the same language. We speak music, right? And so you have a record with Blake Shelton that's going to be hitting around Super Bowl time called Get Ready. You have a record with Becky G that'll be coming out called Mala. Another one with Lil Jon. You know Lil Jon. You know John, me and John like Batman and Robin. I'll forever be Robin, okay? Right. And we have a song called Cinco de Mayo that's going to be coming out. And like I said, this album's going to be setting it up for the English album coming out probably summertime 2021.
Okay. All right, awesome. One more time for Pitbull. That's awesome, right? You said, and I quote, I love the hustle, I love the grind, I love the fight.
Yes, sir.
The hustle and the grind can take a lot out of you. How do you recharge, rejuvenate? How do you find self?
Well, before I get into that answer real quick, but I just want to say thank you to the most winning producers, which is Chino and Georgie, for helping me out on Libertad 548. I wouldn't have had this album without them, and also to Jimmy Joker. I want to make sure, and Team Pitbull, thank y'all so much. With that said, I love the hustle, love the grind, love the fight. Why does it rejuvenate me? Because when you love it, you say when you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And you say, I love it. Look, being a Miami boy, growing up the way that we grew up, we got a chip on our shoulder. You know, nobody ever respected us. Nobody was looking at us from any perspective. Even when the Kings are undefeated, they're like, nah, they're still a #2 team. It's always something that they trash, which is a great thing because it makes us better. It makes us go, okay, don't worry about it. I got you on the next one, partner. And to me, I love that. I don't like things handed to me. I like to earn it. So therefore, when people go to, a lot of yippity-yappity sometimes, and especially now on social media, which I don't even get on that, to be honest with you. I don't know how to sign up to any of that. I don't care if you like me or you're not. That's on you. God bless you. And to be honest with you, I don't want to be around followers and likes. I want to be around leaders and unique. That's what I like to be around. So when you got that chip on your shoulder,
give it up. Give it up.
It's real. I appreciate it. When you got that chip on your shoulder, it's almost like sometimes when so I'm not a thug, I ain't a gangster, I ain't a killer. I ain't none of that. I'm a hustler. I've grown up around the thugs, the goons, the gangsters, the killers, plenty of them. And some of them are excited in altercation. That thing, I'm good, their blood flowing, Me, I'm like, damn, here we go. All right, hopefully I get a couple in, But I've also tried sometimes, and it worked, by the way. Yeah. I had some boys coming at me, and I said, well, you want to trade? Want to trade? Want to trade? Well, bam, bam. I started hitting myself, and they were like, whoa. The boy's loose, right? I said, whoa, thank you, Lord, for making that one happen. I appreciate it. So I look at the game like that now. Like, well, y'all want to run? I want to run it because I'm ready. Right. And when you have that kind of, I would say, passion and an upbringing in the melting pot of Miami, because if it wasn't for Miami, I wouldn't be able to look at the game the way I look at the game. Growing up around, you grow up around Ricans, you grow around Dominicans, Mexicans, Venezuelans, Colombians, Haitians, Bahamians, Jamaicans. I mean, you name it. It's such a Cuban. You're in this, so it allows you to see music from so many different perspectives. And you're using different language, because even though we all speak Spanish as Latins, there's a lot of different dialects. Something I say in Spanish that may be offensive to somebody that speaks Spanish to a Mexican, which has happened to me plenty of times, by the way, but I don't know what I be saying sometimes. And me is all right. They're like, oh, no, don't say that. No, my bad. Or learning Creole, or learning Patois. That, yeah, man, huh? Why, huh? Everything I read. That is what created that love for the grind, love for the hustle, love for the fight, and love for having music to be able to be the conduit to be able to get this message across.
Love it.
Yeah, and bringing everybody together, man, bottom line.
Okay. So with that being said, you've been on Segway fire today, by the way. You've been setting me up every single time for my next question.
Oh, you're right, man. We're like Miami Vice, Crockett and Tubbs.
Let's pose one.
Boom, what's up?
So with the music, how does your album set apart from other music today? You think about the industry, you think about what's out there, what's hot, what's banging on the radio. What's different about your music?
I think what's different is the simple fact that I'm always, like I spoke about earlier, I'm willing to take a risk. I'm willing to try new things. Right. Music today, they're always, what the music business does, and I tell this to people all the time, music business, I'm gonna break it down for you. Half of people don't know music, half of the people don't know business. Half of the people have no business in music. What is this? But there's always a can't. Oh, this record ain't gonna work, that can't happen. Oh, this is outdated, it's not as big as your last record. It's always something. It's never people coming at you going, you're gonna find a way to make this work. So you gotta have that independent mentality, you gotta have that grind, you gotta have that hustle, you gotta have that fight to go, now we're gonna make this work, one way or another. And that's where the team comes in, So making the music that you're able to take a risk on, example, like the record with Blake Shelton. Nobody saw that coming. Because we already proved to the world that we can make hits. We've been very blessed, thank God for that. But now it's about making timeless music, music that's here forever, all right? So now with music, what happens? They send it to your phone. It's a program, that's all it is, program. Then they send it to Spotify. Then it goes up the list on Spotify. Then the guy who programs the radio is looking at Spotify, and they put in the same records on Spotify on the radio. So now for someone to break a record, it's a lot harder. As much as people make it seem like it's something easy. No, it's not, it's far from it. And you gotta love that process. Yeah. You gotta love that process. And a lot of artists, while you see that in the music game, it's real simple, ready? Here today, gone today. That's it. And even if you talk to kids now, you go, fulano, my friend, my bad in my mind, I gotta fight him. I go, you know, I talk to kids because I survey. They're my focus group, right?
Yeah.
They go, yo, I love this record. I said, okay, cool. Who sings it? I don't know. I said, damn.
Right.
Whoa, that's a society we're living in now that you don't even know who sings your favorite record. It's crazy, right? Yeah. So that's what I mean, how quick you could be here and be gone. So the hardest part is not making it, it's maintaining it.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know?
Let's wrap it all up.
Hey, wrap it up.
Connect all the dots.
Hit me.
How does freedom, how does liberty align with being an entrepreneur?
Oh, man, that's what it's all about. Entrepreneurship is such a beautiful thing because it allows you, the day of tomorrow, when you're building whatever it is you believe in and you're passionate about, if you ever get hot, 38 hot, pissed at the boss, you can look in the mirror and go, you know what I want to say, right?
Yeah.
Maybe in Spanish, me cago en tu madre, que tú eres. I could get away with that one.
Right.
In subtitles, and you won't understand it. What I mean by it, that's freedom. You being able to go, you have an idea on your business, and you go, man, imagine if we were to try this, because you see a window of opportunity. Okay? That's why I got into the charter schools. You know, so these are charter public schools. 97% of the kids are on free lunch. These are kids that need it the most, no? We're able to pivot quick. If there's something that we feel would be great for the curriculum, we're able to apply it quick. We don't got to run it through the board and the commissioner and the. By the time you do all of that, you lost that opportunity. So as an entrepreneur, when you're able to move, pivot quickly on an idea, that might be the thing that, boom, makes that business take off, or idea, or whatever you guys may be involved in. It happens to me all the time with records. If we got 13 files, I'm going, that's it right there. But we're able to maneuver and navigate. Now, notice how I use the word maneuver and navigate. I don't use the word manipulate. Manipulate's a whole different animal. I'm not in that business. But as far as being an entrepreneur, you're able to maneuver and navigate. You're able to move how you want to move. Obviously, the hardest part of being an entrepreneur is not your ideas, because that you believe in. It's finding the right circle. Ay, mi madre, but about it. That means get ready, because that's the hard part. You know? But we're good?
We're good.
Hey, Crockett and Tubbs, Miami Vice, get ready for it.
Do we have time for Q&A? No? Yes? No? One or two? No time.
Yeah.
Microsoft Influence Business Mixer. Give it up for Pitbull.
I appreciate you, bro. Thank you.